Developments now coming up. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will now attend the COP27 Summit in Egypt next week, reversing a much criticised decision to skip the annual climate gathering in order to work on pressing economic issues at home. My colleague Sanjay Suri now joining us on the broadcast. Sanjay, any understanding of why the U-turn?
Well, the answer appears to be Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson announced that he will be attending this summit, and this was an arrangement made in together with Alok Sharma, who was the earlier president of COP. And now it appears that Boris Johnson, who was quite the hero as he saw it at the last Glasgow summit, wanted to continue to play a role. And this certainly would have been very awkward for Rishi Sunak and for Britain itself if the former Prime Minister were to turn up and the present Prime Minister were not to turn up. Of course, now it will be awkward in another kind of way. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, will be there, as will the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson clearly is out to play a role internationally and get into the media and appear to be a player in this. So this appears to be more about a political climate than climate as we know it.
Sanjay, quickly, I also want to understand when Rishi Sunak had said no, at that time he'd seen a lot of criticism from climate activists, opposition, some within his own party as well. Now the U-turn coming in, you're saying this is because of the presence of Boris Johnson. But how does this look optically for the decision making as far as Rishi Sunak is concerned?
Not great at all, for two reasons clearly. One, that this is a very important summit. Britain has sought to play a role and hosted the last summit. So for the British Prime Minister, for a British Prime Minister to be absent this time round would be very awkward and certainly not a very convincing move. And therefore, it is very important for a British Prime Minister to be there and to be seen to be playing a role. But it is awkward also additionally because Rishi Sunak said one thing, then another, and this does mean that the economic plan that he has been working on is not quite in place. If he thought that needed so much and such urgent attention that he could skip this meeting because things need to be done there, means that he doesn't have a plan in place to begin with, as he had promised earlier that he does. So this, as they say, is work in progress, and it doesn't add to the credibility of Rishi Sunak for delivering a plan, the economic plan as intended, and doesn't add to his credibility for playing the role Britain should be playing and seen to be playing readily on the international stage in dealing with the climate crisis.
Okay, Sanjay, we leave the conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Shifting our focus to some other